Okay, so you want to know more about my life here in Paris? Great, because I have 7 things, 3 of which are things I don't like as much. I'll talk about them at the end, and 4 of which are things that I love. And I'm so excited to share them with you now. And I want you to continue the conversation with me, so just comment below regardless of the time zone or place that you live, if you find similarities to your own life with the things that I'm about to share. Okay, ready to hear them? Let's get after it. So, the first thing about living here in Paris that I love is the pharmacies. The pharmacies, they are wonderful, and you have pharmacists who are basically like doctors in a lot of ways. They can give you recommendations about over-the-counter things that you're looking to purchase, and they've been really helpful when it comes to me and my special, very sensitive skin. I do have to say that a second thing I love about pharmacies is that you can find high-quality skincare products at lower prices than you would in, let's say, the United States, which is where I come from. By the way, where are you from? Let me know in the comments. So pharmacy culture, very, very positive, very professional, very helpful. And it's definitely a space where you would find people who are really willing to listen to you and give you support. And I found that though I speak French, they also, many of them at least, speak English and are quite helpful as well. So if you're looking for a place even to hang out for just a few minutes where you can feel like, okay, here I know people will interact with me and approach me and they will be kind and helpful, and maybe you'll get some things that you also really need at good prices, stop by the pharmacy and find a pharmacist who's gonna give you the private tour of the pharmacy and the aisles and help you find, hopefully, exactly what you're looking for at a really good price. So pharmacies are the number one thing on this list that I really love, not because they're the very best thing ever, but just because it's the first thing that came to mind. Okay, on to the next one. Talk about cafe culture. Yes, I love cafe culture. Here in Paris, you can find really delicious coffee shops basically anywhere and have yummy things to eat, yummy things to sip on, and have a wonderful time. When I talk about these cafes, I'm mostly thinking about the boulangerie and pâtisserie, being the bakery and dessert shops, and they're ideal no matter the morning, afternoon, or early evening hours. So coffee culture in Paris is so wonderful, especially if you're a coffee drinker like myself. And I do have to point out this awesome mug that I've talked about on social media, gifted to me through History Makers Church, quick plug, in Marietta, Georgia, and through our worship team. It says, "If the stars were made to worship, so will I." And my worship team leader personalized it to have my name. So thank you so much. Shout out to Crystal. All right, if you're not a big coffee drinker, they also do have all kinds of teas. That is something to look into. And if you're not into either of those, then I understand. But for me, who's into coffee, it's such a plus. So what's the third thing on my list? Definitely have to say, riding the bus. It is such a move. I know that the metro is the way that I mostly use to get around, and a lot of people who live here do the same too. The thing about the metro is that a lot of people do the same too. And the bus, I found, at least at this time of year, which is April, is not too crazy packed. And also at the times that I try to use the bus. Why is the bus such a move? And the bus specifically more than the tram? Well, not only are there less people overall sitting and milling about on the bus than there would be at the metro at the same time, but you also get the fresh air and ideally sunlight that comes with being on the bus. And you get, for just €2.50, a really inexpensive tour of Paris. When you're getting from point A to point B, you're definitely gonna see something that will have you appreciate all the more the beauty of this city that I really, really love and I'm really grateful for, and I'm grateful to be living in. So the bus is a definite move. Check it out, try it out. If you're here for a long time or a short time, at least do a bus ride and you'll find that it's worth the money and worth the experience as well. So the bus is a move. All right, here we go to thing number 4 that I love about being in Paris. Ready? The fourth thing I love about living in Paris is the fashion. Guys, I inadvertently moved here during Fashion Week. And actually, there is one account that I encourage you to follow below from someone I met named Ildar, who produces his own jewelry and who really blew me away with his incredible brooches and rings when I was sitting at one of the many delicious brunch places in Paris my first week here. And it turns out that Ildar, just like many others, were here for Fashion Week. Fashion Week was not the only time that I saw incredible handmade, custom, cool styles and people rocking the styles down the streets, but every week since then, when I go out and about, though of course not everybody is dressed to the nines, I do find that there are quite a number of people who have their own unique senses of fashion. And it's wonderful for people watching and getting your own fashion inspiration. So I love the fashion here in Paris, and it's something that you get to experience if you're someone like me who's able-bodied and able to see those beautiful fashion pieces people are rocking. All right, so now here are the things that I don't like as much with a caveat, and don't forget to tell me what your city or wherever it is that you live is like. So here are the 3 things that I don't enjoy as much about living in Paris. Starting with the first one is any medical visit means that you get to work as your own billing person and do your own hospital billing. For those of you who don't live in the States, you might be like, what? And for those of you who live in the States, you might be like, what? So let me explain. In the States, we usually have such a big medical system that even private and small doctor's offices, all the way through large hospitals, employ people to make sure to call patients' insurance and send in any kind of bills that they've received and reimburse the patient. So that's something that is my norm back in the States, and it doesn't exist here in France. Is that the norm where you're from? I'm very curious to know. So here, that means that whenever I go to any kind of doctor visit, I have to keep track of my receipts so that I can call up my insurance and get the money back from that visit. Not such a fun thing. Not terrible either, but one thing I don't like as much. Here's the second thing I don't like as much. Ready? The second thing I don't like as much is, speaking of being a patient, having to be patient to make new friends. I mean, that's something that anyone moving into a new city, whether they've been there before or not, is likely to encounter. And for me, that's definitely the case. I'm so grateful that I have a few friends that I've made through Youth with a Mission here in Paris, specifically Youth with a Mission, YWAM Paris Connect, so YPC. If you're curious and are interested in participating in any of their discipleship training schools, cool, check them out. I've also linked them below. And not only through YPC do I have friends, but I have some friends through my current local church that I'm assisting. So that's been wonderful meeting people there. But it takes a while still to make really quality friends and have those relationships develop into deeper bonds. So the patient process of friend making is tough. I'm curious, do you have any tips for making new friends? What has worked for you in the city or place that you currently live at? And here we go to the third and last thing that I don't like so much about living in Paris, and I wonder what your thoughts are. Thanks, by the way, for listening to my video this far. maybe reach out and we can see about connecting further, because as you know, friends are great to have, and I would invite you to follow me on Instagram or follow my blog where I talk more about language, where I talk more about my experience living here in France and translations. So, hi! The last thing that I don't like so much about living in Paris is being alone at the exact moments that my extroverted parts of my introverted personality are really into chatting. Hey, this blog is a great way to chat, but it doesn't fully alleviate the issue. There are definite moments where I wish that I could chat with people, hang out with people, and I get that sometimes. But sometimes in the exact moment where I'm like, it'd be really great to hang out with people right now, I'm in the beauty of this wonderful studio with myself and the Holy Spirit of God. So he's amazing company with me at all moments, and ever-present help in times of trouble. And I also would love to be able to have friends around me at any moment and just have them poof appear. So obviously that's something that just comes with solo living, whether you're solo living in your own hometown, home country, or solo living anywhere else. But Paris does have one positive aspect that allows me to combat this feeling, and it's that somewhat instantaneous action that I can take, which is to walk outside and be surrounded by the many people that I will undoubtedly find once I leave these four walls. And even though it does not replace high quality depth of friendship and relationship, just seeing other people and being around other people does a lot to lift my spirits up and to help me not feel so by myself. So even though it's something I don't like as much, I do have to say that Paris does still offer something for me to help feel more at ease with being an extroverted introvert living the solo studio life. So that is my last and final thing on my list of 7 total things on things I love and don't like so much about being here in Paris. So my friends, it is a wrap on that video, this video about the 7 things which I really love and don't like so much about living in Paris. And I can't wait to continue the conversation, potentially make some new friends, and hear all about your life and your experiences. So until the next time, I'm Ashley Ferreira, and follow along for more here on Instagram or at my blog, ashferreira.com. Until then, au revoir.